528, and in this case I couldn't find a similar one, and so I kind of made up my own, and I used a deck of cards, I guess, as an example. I used to like playing a lot of cards, so and I just put it this way, and it's similar to yours. If you make yours out the same way, I think it would kind of work, but in this case I've got a deck of cards that would typically have 52 if we don't count the jokers. And I got 4 suits, so each suit, like hearts, has 13 in it, and so what's the probability that the first 2 cards drawn on hearts? Well, the probability of the first card being drawn is simply equal then to my number of hearts divided by my total number of cards, right? Okay, but to calculate the second one, we've got to revise that a little bit, because now we're down to 51 cards, right? We're not putting, in this case, one's contingent upon the other, so the second event is contingent upon the first one, at least in our problem, right? If I put the heart back in, then it would be 25% again, and we'd have a little different story, but I'm not putting the heart back in, and so now I have 51 cards remaining, and only 12 of them, presumably, if I pick the heart here, and so the probability of drawing the second card as a heart is simply equal to my 12 divided by my 51. So 23.5% roughly. So the probability of the first 2 cards being hearts, you can remember this too if you're playing poker. What's the probability of drawing 2 cards to a flush? Okay, but anyhow, the probability is my 2 other probabilities multiplied by each other. Okay, so there you go. Now, your guys' has a second part to the equation, and so I kind of wanted to run through that and say, what's the probability that the first 2 cards are not hearts? And you can't, it's not a complement, and so you can't just subtract this from 1 and say that would be 90-some%. No, you have to go through the process just like we did here. So the probability that the first card is not a heart is going to be 39, okay, because I'd have 39, 3 other suits with 13 cards each in it, and I just did this the short way, is equal to 39 then divided by my 52. Okay, and then for the second one, and I could put this in here, I guess, 39. My second one then, I have 51 again, and I would have 38 non-hearts. Okay, and so then this would simply be equal to my 38 divided by my 51. Okay, and so the odds are that each of the first 2 cards is not hearts, and I have to say it that way, that each of them is not a heart, or that both of them are not hearts, is equal to this one times this one. Okay, or 55%, roughly 56%.